Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. We're once again at the beautiful Drama Bookshop located on West 39th Street, and my guest is a star of stage, screen, and television. From Broadway, you know him from Spring Awakening. From television, from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and from the films Pitch Perfect and Pitch Perfect 2. And now he has just stepped into the role of Seymour in the hit revival of Little Shop of Horrors. Please welcome Skylar Astin. Great to be sitting with you here at the brand new Drama Bookshop.
Yes. Thank you, Lin-Manuel, for reinstating this. And what chairs are we sitting in today?
These are the Hamilton chairs.
Thanks, Lynn.
So how excited are you? You are back. You've just stepped into the role of Seymour. How exciting is that in Little Shop?
It's very fun. I love playing Seymour 8 times a week. It's a bit of a physical bear. Like my first entrance is a pratfall. But I just absolutely love the cast. I love the production, love the direction. It's a really wonderful atmosphere there.
Was this a dream role of yours?
It was kind of a dream role, like in theory, but the thing is that this was one of my few musical theater blind spots. I didn't know Little Shop. I knew the hits, Suddenly Seymour and Somewhere That's Green, and I saw Jonathan in the original cast of this production. So I loved it, but didn't really get into it, and now I can say I'm absolutely playing a dream role.
What is it like living in the world of Little Shop?
Sleeping under the counter. It is such a darling set. The environment is so surreal. We're very close quarters backstage, and the cast is very close. I just absolutely love telling this story. It's such a perfect musical, and so you just kind of got to say it right, say with conviction, mean everything, play your truth, and the table's set for you.
Yeah. You get to sing this incredible, iconic score by Alan Menken and Howard Ashman. So when you started working on these songs, what was that like?
Well, it's always delicious working on Menken and Ashman. I did a lesser-known Menken Ashman musical at City Center called God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, and in that you heard a lot of the seedlings of brilliance, and then some things that they departed from. With this, you're just getting them in their sweet spot. Yeah. And you can hear the Newsies in certain reprises, and you could feel the Aladdins and even the part of your worlds that were destined to happen. It's just so iconic, and all of their stuff has become so iconic. So it's just great to do one of their early-ish works.
Sharing the stage with this remarkable company, especially Tammy Blanchard as your Audrey.
Yeah, she's outrageous. I love working with Tammy. Her take on Audrey is something that drew me to this production as an audience member. When Michael asked me to do it, I was like, is Tammy and Christian still doing it? Because they leave such a mark. And to be able to insert myself in that picture has been a real dream, and I've learned a lot.
Okay. First performance on stage as Seymour. What do you remember?
My lines. And thankfully I did, because it's I've never replaced before, and it's not until you're really on stage doing it in front of an audience do you get to really run it with the cast. I got to put in rehearsal, so you get one shot with the actual cast. Other than that, it's stage management, our amazing understudies, some piano players, but yeah, it was a lot of stuff I kind of had to do envisioning and then inserting myself in on the day, kind of being shot out of a cannon, in the best way, though.
How much pre-stuff did you do?
Not enough. I played catch-up my first week. I learned the whole thing the weekend of my first week. I was like, I got to get this book out of my hand. I only got a couple days now. So I caught up. I think had I done it all over again, I maybe would have tried to... I'm not really like a get-off book before you start guy, but maybe as much as possible.
It's funny that you say that, because I've spoken to a lot of people because they feel if they get off book, they already have a preconceived notion of how they're going to say things, right. And you don't want that.
Yeah, there's that. But then again, that's like the initial discovery, and then you're kind of open to see actually how I would never lock in a performance anyway now that I am off book, so I don't know why that would change. To come off book, I wouldn't feel locked in. But I understand that perspective. I just, I don't know if I share it.
Yeah.
No.
So that first performance, was it sort of like it started and all of a sudden you were taking your bow?
No. Every scene was like, oh my God, that didn't break. The cast, the audience was amazing. Michael Mayer was there, even though I
don't need my cards.
yeah,
It's all good.
there we go. Even though I asked Michael not to come for a bit, he came.
He came.
He came.
Yeah.
But I kind of expected it, and I had a couple guests that I also asked not to come my first week, and they were like, "Look, we're only in New York," and blah 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 blah. So I'm like, "What am I doing? I can't be managing when people come see me in this." So I was ready to go. I would have been ready to go anyway, but I was ready to host.
Yeah.
You know, and it went well, and it's still going well.
Okay, so you're working with director Michael Mayer again, who you've worked with before. What makes him such a sought-after director?
I think he just has an incredible vision. He sees things so differently. I mean, he can get into the humanity, but he's also just like a brilliant picture maker. I just like, even from the Spring Awakening days, back in the Throwing the Matter Millie days, but even like this production, I think he really strives to find the authenticity in a piece, and that's what draws him to it, like with American Idiot. And then with this, he wanted to make sure there's no Broadway aspirations. This isn't a transfer potential. This is how Little Shop was always supposed to be done. Yeah. He's very close with Alan, and I just think he really unites and honors the playwright.
He let you do your own Seymour too, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't there, so he got to open up the present and see what.
Oh, that night.
Yeah. We he left me alone for the most part and let me be put in by, because he was busy with Funny Girl, and now he's busy with his Neil Diamond musical. So we spoke on the phone a little bit, but other than that, yeah, he's like, I'm so excited, and I was ready for the biggest list of notes ever. And he was very, very responsive to my Seymour, and it meant the world coming from him. He's like, to impress Michael Mayer is a big deal for me. And he really liked it. And then he goes, oh, just one thing. Make sure the tube of the plant is in between your legs for the final number. And I was like, that's it? Thank God. So there's, at the very end, spoiler alert, there's a bit of a plant situation, and I'm wearing a big plant costume, and I guess I had it to the side, and it needs to be through the legs. But if that's the only thing that Michael Mayer had to say, I'm in good shape.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Dare I say I'm in good shop.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get into Spring Awakening and working with him on that, I want to go back to you growing up. Mm-hmm. Where did your love for the theater begin, and how did the musical Godspell change everything for you?
Yeah, I was just about to get into that story. I always loved playing piano and singing, but I never got up on stage. I never had the courage. And then there was a local production of Godspell. My mother was very adamant that I go audition for it, and I answered the call. I went there thinking that it would still be going on because we were very late. I sang Happy Birthday and Corner of the Sky because that's the only song I knew, because my sister used to listen to Broadway Kids soundtracks. Little did I know that's a Stephen Schwartz song. For a Stephen Schwartz musical, it was the perfect audition song. And due to, lack of boys, I got Jesus. And having a voice, I had a pretty good voice. I found Jesus. Jesus found me. Yeah. And my life did a complete 180. Yeah. I went to Stage Door Manor Theater Camp.
Oh, we have to talk about this. Okay, so explain Stage Door Manor for people who may not know what Stage Door Manor is. And I mean, the amount of people who went there.
Yes. Stage Door Manor is a theater camp, kind of conservatory of kids from all around the world who love who love theater, who listen to cast recordings. Yeah. And I've never felt, because once I got bitten by the bug, I was so immersed in theater, and I really felt like I found my people, theater people. And to see it at such a young, formative age was so powerful. I just remember being around people like Itai Benson, who's now in Company, and Shana Taub, who just wrote and was in Suffs. Like, that was my class. And just seeing Shana Taub sing Brother, Can You Spare a Dime at 12, and Itai doing Grand Hotel with me at like 15, but like feeling it and living it and like envisioning it and dreaming together in that camp just makes it a really unique place. So it's not just like a fancy schmancy camp. There's a lot of grit and a lot of hard work. Like, that's how I first learned how to put on a musical in under 2 weeks.
Okay, so what are some of your favorite roles you played at Stage Door?
I played Jean Valjean. I played Guido in 9. I played...
and how old were you?
Like 16, 17. But I really liked doing Julian Marsh in 42nd Street because I just acted a lot more.
Yeah.
It wasn't as reliant on the voice. Though my lullaby of Broadway was very nice, I was told. But you know, he does. It's not like a heavy singing role. I remember that season. There was Sweeney Todd. There was West Side Story. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
And then 42nd Street changed my life because I was like, I just felt so a part of the ensemble.
That was awesome playing all those roles at 16.
Pretty amazing.
Guido in 9.
Guido and 9. 2028 revival.
Yeah.
I'm available. And Italian.
Right. Oh, we are so there. Broadway World, put it out there in the ether.
I didn't realize you were pining for roles on this interview, but yes, I am always.
No, I am. I'm always pining because at the end we're going to walk by the musical theater. Vocal selections over there. I'm going to see is there a dream role over there you'd like to do?
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
9, fabulous. Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so your first big professional job while you were still in school was Spring Awakening.
That's right. I had to leave NYU a little early, or there was a bit of overlap actually. I had to literally be in 2 places at once. And I had to miss 3 rehearsals a week for 3 weeks in the original off-Broadway run.
Yeah.
And Michael and Tom were like, why did we hire you? You're so behind. You're never here. And then I finally graduated, or not graduated. I finished. Yeah. And then I caught up and was ready to go for previews. And the rest was literally history. Thank God they kept me.
Okay, 'cause I was down with all of you. We were there when I was at Broadway Beat. We were in that rehearsal room at that meet and greet with all of you. You were all so young. None of you had ever done interviews before. No one knew. Well,
was that for the Atlantic or the Broadway?
The Atlantic.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The rawness that you must have seen.
Well, I saw the same thing in Rent.
Yeah.
I was around for Rent from the very beginning. It was like Adina Menzel and everybody and Adam Pascal. Like, Richie, we knew nothing.
Truly.
Someone turned a camera on with a light. We're like, who do we talk to?
Right. Yeah. Especially someone like Adam. He was truly like, right?
Okay, so how life-changing was Spring Awakening, that role and that show for you?
It was the most formative experience ever because, and we kept being told that like, you'll see, like in 10 years, it'll hit you what this was. I think it kind of is like hitting us now. We were just kind of living through it. Like we had each other. You know, it was a really, we were carrying the show as a cast. It was a very cast reliant show. I felt there was a lot of lightning in that cast specifically. And just navigating Broadway and then the schedule and the physicality of that show and the emotionality of that show, it bonded us so closely. I know Leah always says like she had Glee, I had Pitch Perfect, but that always will take, Spring Awakening will always take the cake because it was the first. It's like you never forget your first love, and it was so significant. It was like generational.
Okay, so I spoke with all of you about a month ago at the New York premiere for the sensational HBO documentary, Spring Awakening.
Yep. Those you've known.
Okay, that was such a fun night to see you all reunited, but I got to catch up with you and Gideon Glick that night, and I was like, oh, so these two together
are a problem. Me and Gideon Glick together is like a serious problem. Like everyone kept talking about how they had tears, and it was so sad, and it was. I cried, of course. I'm not inhuman, but I've never laughed harder. Like Gideon and I in a room together is like, we'll never get anything done because we just cackle, we gossip, but we also just like think the same things. You know when something's floating in a room and you think of the dirty joke or you think of the silly pun, and we both like whispered at the same time and just start laughing. It's like we're truly. Gideon was like, I think I like love you more now than I did then, or something. We've like matured into quite a couple.
Because I remember Jonathan cried his eyes out from the second he walked into the rehearsal room. Leah did too. John Gallagher, everybody. Then you two are like giggling in the corner,
cackling like hyenas. It's terrible. But that's how it is. Same thing with Jen Damiano. Yeah. Like that was always. I mean, because we had so much like. This is before YouTube. We used to watch like the same video. The E-Bombs world, do you know of this? Like we used to watch viral videos, and there was like 3 viral videos. There wasn't even a word yet. Yeah. And so we all like memorized the same things. We still remember them, and we just have a million inside jokes. There's memories, there's love, there's like so much emotion, but there's also tons of laughter.
Yeah. Okay, so the benefit concert brought the original cast back together again for the Actors Fund. What an incredible night that it was documented and the archival footage in this. What did that night mean to you being a part of the Actors Fund, one night only benefit?
I think it was a top five night for me. It certainly made my year.
Yeah.
We didn't know that we like needed it. Michael likes to say, like, now that you had that night, like you'll like it solidified the whole experience to come back and do it and still sounds. It's like, okay, so there's the superficial. We sounded so great together, blah 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 blah. But just to hear like Lily do Dark I Know Well with her career and her new motherhood, and Johnny Gallagher to like add what he's added, and everyone, and truly everyone. It was a real gift. We're all very grateful we got to do it.
Well, like I said, before we went on camera, I said, I've seen so many documentaries made on Broadway shows. This is the most phenomenal documentary anybody will ever watch. I'm just glad you all have that.
Yeah, so much so. We're very grateful.
Okay, so during Spring Awakening, you got cast as a lead in that hilarious comedy, Hamlet 2, right?
Yes.
We played Rick.
I played Rand.
Rand, okay.
It was my first movie, one of my favorites still.
Yeah.
Loved doing
My
that.
nephew turned me on to that movie. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's really funny.
Oh, it's really funny. Amy Poehler, like SNL Prime, Amy Poehler, and David Arquette, Catherine Keener. It's a great cast.
Okay, so I love to ask stage actors, did you grasp the art of filmmaking right away? Because we're going to get into your next film, which is Taking Woodstock, that Jonathan Groff did. And Jonathan told me a story that his first entrance in that film is coming out of the helicopter. I
remember that.
And Anne kept saying, less, less, less. And John was like, oh my God, he's going to fire me. Or like, so I wonder, when you were doing Hamlet 2, like, did you grasp filmmaking right away?
I kind of did, but also, like, speaking to the Jonathan story, Aang is a sculptor, so, like, he knows, so it could be less, less, less. It could be head tilt higher. Like, so, you know, he's always going to give very specific direction. Not that Andy Fleming from Hamlet 2 didn't, but I just remember my first frame of film ever was me reading the school paper. It was a bad review for our production of Erin Brockovich, the musical. And I just remember reading it like I would, you know, on stage. But it was a really long lens shot from like half a football field away. It was just long. And then, like, I heard the DP be like, Skylar, like, head up. And so I just remember, like, noticing the relationship to camera. And it just, like, slowly adapted. So I think it's, like, the less idea, or just, like, the awareness of where the camera is. And now I speak that language very well and know different lenses and all that kind of stuff. But I would way rather go from theater to film than the opposite way. I wouldn't know how to amplify a performance. I think that would be harder than to make it more real or grounded or quieter or whatever.
Okay, so next was Ang Lee's Taking Woodstock. What was it like working with him?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like, he's the lead of that movie. You know, like, it was a biopic.
Yeah.
He's done more research than all of us combined. He just had every answer. So truly, like, the emperor of the set.
Yeah.
There's such reverence for him. He works with the same people, and as long as we need to be there, we'll be there. Like, I never remember, like, my concept of time on that set was never, I think I was there for like 5 weeks and I'm in it for like 5 minutes, but, like, there was rehearsal, there was every angle, like, we did a whole morning. I thought that my scene was finished. I was, like, going to make a huge plate. And he goes, Skylar, now we're going to start moving into coverage, and we're going to finally get to you. And he was like, what? I was like, what were we doing all morning? He's like, just all the masters. And normally it's like 1 or 2 masters tops. And I was like, wow, so we're just, like, we're just covering the crap out of this. He makes films, you know.
You had a good time with him, right?
So much, so much. And he was such a fan of our little group of Jonathan, Adam Pally, and me. We were like the Woodstock producer, like, you know, because it's a lot of stuff surrounding Woodstock, that movie, but we were the actual, like, people who did the Woodstock Festival, so.
Okay. You were also known to millions of worldwide fans, of course, on Pitch Perfect and Pitch Perfect 2. You must have so many incredible memories of playing that role and working on those films. Do you have a favorite?
A favorite memory?
Yeah.
The first riff-off was very special.
Okay.
I had just come off a movie where I was doing all night shoots. It was like a one crazy night movie. And that was night shoots, and I remember everyone being so tired. And I was like, guys, this is 3 days. Like, I just did 5 weeks of night shoots. I had so much energy. And then once we got in that pool, something really magical happened. The movie kind of came together in that. Because the game of the riff-off was something that Jason Moore, esteemed theater director, was very specific about, like, understanding what we're playing, not just, like, singing a mashup. And I think we all got really engaged in the game of it all, and that's where all those nuanced moments in the movie kind of came out of.
Okay. And then there's Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, where you took on a role that was originally played by Santino Fontana.
Yeah.
So that reminded me, I grew up in the 60s and 70s with Bewitched,
Right.
when there were two Darren Stevens. There was
Right.
Dick York, and then it went in color, and it was Dick Sargent.
Right.
So what was your first day on the set like?
Yeah, that's like an Aunt Viv situation as well with Fresh Prince. It was kind of like the elephant in the room when it's like they were so chill and cool, and I felt like I was in such good hands with it and them and the concept that they're like, you're gonna be great. This is so fun. Oh my god, this is great. But I think there was like let's see how this actually goes, and then we did a scene, and then after day one, I think everyone was like, didn't want to say it, but oh my god, this is working out so well. Thank God.
We're gonna keep you.
Yeah, like because it's it was tricky, but. It was just really good feedback, and that extra good feedback I knew was like affirming themselves, affirming the idea, affirming me in the idea, and then it was just all systems go.
Okay, and then there's Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. You're known for so many people. How much fun was that playing Max?
So much. I love Max. I miss Max.
Yeah.
I miss that cast. I just love that whole experience. It was such a combination of everything I've been doing over the years, and TV and film and musical and pop music, and all in this one really cool concept with this top-notch cast. We really love doing that one.
You miss him.
Of course. Yeah.
Is there a movie planned?
There is a movie. We did a movie. We shot a movie. There might be another. I don't know.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
Another sequel, right?
I think so. I mean, we left it open, so we can keep going.
Oh, I love that. Okay, now you're also a wonderful singer-songwriter. Some really great songs.
Well, I actually have a bunch more coming out. The first couple that I released were just kind of a nothing against them. I love them so much. It was more like fun electronic pop. It was a pandemic project, but this new like collection of songs, which is like kind of 8 or 10 that I'm going to start releasing May 27th, is it's just more focused on the actual like sonic identity of who I am as like a songwriter. And an artist. And I can go different ways in different genres, but I like this as like an album.
Yeah. Because you were influenced to write music by Billy Joel and Dave Matthews?
I was, but my music sounds nothing like them. I just love them so much. But I never you never know. I might do a very piano-based Billy Joel album one day for sure. But this is feel good, happy, poppy. There's some sad ones. There's some ballads. It's just a proper album, a proper pop album.
Is that what got you through the pandemic of writing music at home?
Yeah, and also I just love doing something where I get to have the final say. I get to decide when, where, what.
Yeah.
No strings. Let's add strings. I love that kind of stuff.
So when are these songs being released?
Kind of one by one. I think starting May 27th, just like every 4 weeks, I'll just drop another one.
How do people find them?
It'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. It'll be in my Instagram bio for a while. So yeah. Chills. Chills comes out first.
That's the first one coming out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did you write it with somebody or?
I wrote it with Stefan, my friend Stefan Litt and John Hall, and Sam DeRosa, actually. We wrote 2 songs that day and recorded them both that day.
Did you write in the same room?
Yeah.
I love this.
It was a vibe. It was a fun vibe. I think
awesome.
people like it. Yeah, it's different.
Okay, so I told you I live across the street from where you're playing right now in Little Shop of Horrors, and a matinee had just gotten out, and all of a sudden this whole bunch of people like, oh my God, they flipped over seeing something live. They'd never been to a live anything, and they went to see Little Shop because you were in it, because they knew you were Pitch Perfect.
This was like a week ago.
Yeah, totally.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
No, this was just like the other day. Yeah,
okay.
totally. Yeah. And I just love that, to talk to people who are known from other mediums.
Right.
And people, it all happened with us when we started going to the theater. I was like, my God, this is all live. You're changing people's lives by introducing them to this new art form of live theater, what that means to you.
That means the world. My favorite thing is student matinees. They can be raucous. They can maybe laugh at the inappropriate part. But I love hearing the discovery of that relationship of live audience to performance. I just love seeing kids out in the house. There's a couple like not jump scares, but funny moments with the puppet with me. And I saw a couple kids in the front row, and I was like, "You're gonna get it," you know what I mean? Because who wouldn't want like? There's a couple moments where the plant goes out at the audience. So I just like giving people a unique theater experience, a live experience, and especially kids. I love that.
You know, I know you're new to the role of Seymour, but it must just be so great to be back on stage again, doing what you love the most in front of a live audience. If you could sum up the best part of the experience so far, what is it for you with doing Little Shop?
Truly the cast. I really, because it's all not fun if you don't vibe with the people, and their reputation preceded themselves, and they are as lovely as you've heard. I mean, it's why the show is popping, and why everyone shows up, does their job, gives 110%, and is there for each other. That's what makes theater very special.
So I have a fun question for you. So here we are at the Drama Bookshop, and this is, of course, the songbook section of all the vocal scores from all the Broadway musicals. Are there some dream roles you'd like to play?
There are. I was actually looking for. Oh, here it is right here. This is a big one for me.
Okay.
Just says so much about the artist, about art and commerce coming together. It's such a rich score. It's a good sing for me. Mandy Patinkin is like my musical theater like icon, guru, everything. I see a lot of my heart in his and soul, and so this one definitely has to happen somewhere.
You could grow that George Surratt beard, right?
Easy.
Easy.
Right. But hot take, I believe that he goes clean shaven because then he puts it on, and in Act 2 he's off.
Okay. So it's fake anyway.
Get you a George who could do both.
I love it. Something else?
One. The Peas.
Peas are down here.
Parade.
Okay.
Parade's a big one. I'm a big Jason Robert Brown guy. This is one of his best scores, though I do love Last 5 Years. Honorable mention. I love this one.
Yeah.
I love Leo Frank. He's a misunderstood Jewish man with so much soul. It's a beautiful sing, and I love it.
It's a gorgeous show. Those are really good choices.
Those are them.
All right.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Put it out there, Broadway world, getting into these two shows.
Come on. I'm a Vail.
Well, this has been great. I thank you so much for sitting with me today here at the Drama Bookshop. And where are we sitting?
We're sitting in the Hamilton chairs.
Fabulous.
Thanks, Lynn.
If you want a fabulous night of a theater, go see this one in Seymour in the hit production of Little Shop of Horrors. He's terrific. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you at the theater.